Mates, market research has always been the thing everyone knows they should do, but barely anyone does it right. Recruiting real people, scheduling interviews, waiting weeks, and by the time results come in, the market may have shifted. My name is Daniel, and today I'm testing Atypica AI, a platform that approaches research from a completely different angle. We are running the same detailed research prompt through ChatGPT, Claude, and Atypica to see how the outputs actually differ. Every step is on screen, so you can judge for yourself. Guys, make sure you check out all the useful links in the description after watching this video. There might be some nice discounts there. Let's get started. Friends, Atypica is an AI-powered research platform built around one specific idea that real market insight doesn't come from trend summaries alone. It comes from understanding how people actually make decisions, the trade-offs, the doubts, the emotional blockers. The platform works with what it calls AI personas, simulated consumer profiles trained on over 1 million synthetic identities. These identities are modeled from real social media conversations, along with more than 100,000 in-depth human interviews. They don't just answer questions, they reason through specific situations the way real buyers do. Atypica supports two core research formats: one-on-one interview mode for digging into individual decision logic, and group discussion mode, where personas interact and push back on each other. Both are designed for complex problems, where there is no single clean answer. The platform has already been used by teams at globally recognized brands in the consumer and marketing space. So this is a legitimate research tool, not just a novelty. Alright folks, let's get into the actual test. I'm running a detailed research project to evaluate the feasibility of launching an AI-powered workflow automation platform for mid-sized US logistics companies. Same prompt, all three tools, no changes. First stop, ChatGPT. I paste the prompt, and it comes back with a solid, well-organized report. The market overview is thorough. You get growth drivers, adoption logic, and clear strategic categories. It reads like a well-informed analyst who has read everything published on the topic. The structure is clean and easy to navigate. That said, mates, everything here feels aggregated. The insights are accurate but generic, the kind of information you could find across a dozen public reports. There's no friction in the language, no buyer hesitation, nothing that sounds like it came from an actual conversation with a skeptical operations director. It tells you what the market looks like from the outside. Next up is Claude. The output here shifts notably towards stakeholder psychology. There are dedicated sections on why a CFO and an operations director approached the same decision from completely different angles. The CFO wants ROI certainty, and the operations director fears being blamed if the rollout fails. The analysis of psychological resistance is detailed and genuinely useful for anyone building a sales strategy. Friends, where Claude is strong on the why behind buyer behavior, it still builds that picture from data and inferred logic. The language stays analytical throughout. You get a sharp framework for understanding the decision-making unit, but it still feels like looking at buyers from the outside, rather than sitting across from one. Now we get to Atypica AI. When I open the platform, the first thing worth noting is that it's not just a chat interface. There's a dedicated space to start a study, and below it the platform already offers research scenario templates. There's also a voice input option. You can speak your brief out loud and the platform converts it. For anyone who thinks faster out loud than in text, that's a genuinely useful detail. Guys, before we move on, I try to make my content fun instead of boring. And in return, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content I make. So I paste the same prompt and hit study. The platform doesn't just start generating, it first breaks the research into phases and then asks me a few clarifying questions. That includes the revenue range behind mid-sized, the logistics segment in focus, and the digital maturity level of target companies. You pick from the options it offers, and it uses those answers to narrow the scope before it builds anything. Once I confirm, Atypica puts together a structured research plan, complete with research objects, focus dimensions, methods, and expected outputs. One thing it mentions at this stage is that it will configure personas for the study. Based on the platform's approach, that means it's selecting specific consumer profiles from its library that actually match the stakeholder types relevant to this question. Folks, then the process starts, and you can watch it build in real time. It generates an interview question framework, structures the information as it collects it, and assembles the report progressively. You're not waiting for a finished document to appear. You see how the conclusions are being formed. Here's the part that makes this tool stand apart from the other two. Atypica finds 10 AI personas relevant to your study. At this point, the platform is selecting personas from its existing library that match the stakeholder types in the research. We can open one of the AI-generated personas to explore it in more detail. Mike represents an operations director at a mid-sized food manufacturing company with over 20 years of experience. This is exactly the type of core decision-maker we're trying to understand and reach. The persona highlights his priorities, metrics, and challenges when evaluating new solutions. This helps teams design messaging and products that resonate with real operational needs. Atypica doesn't just pull personas out of thin air. The platform scans real social platforms for live conversations. In this case, it starts with X, but it also searches Instagram and TikTok, looking not only at posts, but at comments as well. Once it retrieves those conversations, it doesn't just summarize them, it analyzes the material across 7 social psychological dimensions: demographics, geographic context, psychological traits, behavioral patterns, needs and pain points, tech acceptance, and social relationships. From that multidimensional analysis, it builds new AI personas simulating real consumers. What's interesting is that these personas aren't static templates. They are modeled on behavioral patterns extracted from real discussions. According to validation studies, their response patterns show around 80% consistency with real-world human behavior. Mates, that's essentially a way to understand your target audience online, without recruiting participants, without scheduling interviews, without chasing survey responses. It's not just market observation. It's a structured consumer simulation. Then it actually interviews them. You can watch the agent question each persona and read through the full exchange, or skip straight to the summary of key findings and memorable dialogue from each interview. What comes out of those conversations, mates, is something neither ChatGPT nor Claude produced. Not market categories or analytical frameworks. Actual buyer language. One persona has been burned by a failed vendor rollout and now demands financial penalty clauses before signing. Another says no single champion at their company could drive adoption because too many departments would need to align. These aren't just data points, but the exact objections your sales rep will hear on the third call. Once the report is ready, you can read a structured document covering decision drivers, trust barriers, and pricing sensitivity. ChatGPT and Claude give you solid market context and strategic frameworks. Atypica adds a layer that those two don't reach. It puts the buyer's voice directly in the output. That combination is what makes the full picture actually useful. Guys, there's one more thing worth showing. You can generate a podcast from your research in a single click. The tool produces a transcript and an audio version, available on a separate page.
Every insight deserves an audience. Welcome to Atypica AI.
You know what's wild? Right now, while you're listening to this, there are logistics companies literally throwing away millions of dollars. Not on bad investments, not on failed ventures. They're losing it because their warehouse manager is manually typing data from one spreadsheet to another spreadsheet.
Handy if you want to share findings with someone who won't read a full report. You can also copy a shareable link, download the report as a PDF, or open it in a separate window. There's even a replay function. It walks you through the entire process from the start, the original brief, each step taken, and how the result was assembled. The platform shows you a stats breakdown too: time spent on the study, steps taken, agents involved, and token usage. Everything stays organized in dedicated sections. Projects, podcasts, personas, and interviews all have their own page. And if you've already done some real-world research, you can upload your interview files directly and manage them from there. Atypica gives you a place to bring it all together. Friends, time to wrap this up. What Atypica does well is get you closer to the actual decision-making moment, not just the market data around it. You see how a skeptical buyer thinks, what triggers their resistance, and what it would actually take to earn their trust. That kind of insight is hard to get any other way without spending weeks and a budget on real recruiting. Folks, if you're building something, validating an idea, or preparing for a tough sales conversation, this tool is worth testing. Give it a shot and see how it fits your workflow. Now, I have a question for you. What's the biggest gap you've noticed between market research and what customers tell you in real life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to check out the links in the description below. You might find some discounts there. As usual, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time.